Well, hello there, folks, and welcome to the Bubba Roundtree Outdoors Reloading Bench. I am your host, Wade Rush. It has been one heck of a busy weekend, folks. Here we are in the first week of November, starting the second half of deer season here in the Midlands of South Carolina. And I had a birthday this weekend on November 4. That is a BRO birthday, if you're talking about me. Anyway, and 59. Oh, I got one more year and I'll be turning 60, Lord willing. All right, what we're going to talk about today is some 3.5-inch hammers. These have been over at the fellas at the club. Greg Davenport shoots these a lot. David Ayers shoots them a lot. Robbie Joyner shoots these a lot. And they have been putting the venison on the tailgate. And a lot of other folks that are out there loading these rounds have put the pork and the coyotes on the tailgate with these 3.5-inch loads here. We got a couple of different variations, but these are field tested, tried and true, and I'm gonna show them to you. Y'all stand by. Well, folks, here's some of the beauties we've already been putting together. Brand new primed Fiocchi. These are primed with the 616, not the Magnum primer, but if it was, wouldn't matter. But these have the standard 616. These are already loaded right here. This beauty right here happens to have 34.5 grains of blue dot, a TPS cushion wad. Word has it that they're going to be coming back available again. That is good news. 18 pellets of 32 cal in here. That is a hammer right there. That will get it done. Now, the cool thing about it is if you don't have the TPS cushion wads, there's a couple of other ones that are working great in the field, like the Gwalandi MG42 and the LBC50, the CSD114. All three of these wads are working outstanding in the field. They are putting game on the tailgate in the field right now as we speak. So, without any further ado, see what a beautiful round that is right there? We're hovering around 2 ounces of lead payload weight with all the different configurations, or what about 3 different configurations that we're going to do here today. And so that's what we got to look forward to. And we'll talk about a couple of different powders as well. All right, diving right in where the dinner meets the table here. We got a brand new primed 616 Fiocchi primed. New 3.5-inch from Ballistic Products. And we're fixing to dispense 34 grains of blue dot in this particular load. First round that we're going to take a look at is using the Gwalandi MG42 wad from Ballistic Products here. This is one of the most universal buckshot wads that I have ever used, ever tested. And this one is probably taking more in the field with 2 3/4 inch, 3 inch, and 3.5 than any other wad that I have ever used. This is a good one to have several bags in the tote whenever it comes time to start loading up for hogs and deer and stuff like that, and coyotes. Yes. So, while the old Hornady lock and load, it's been a good one. They don't even make that one anymore. And whenever it finishes trickling up here, we're going to get that 34 grains of blue dot put in here. We're going to be roll crimping all rounds today. I do not have a mech set up for crimping the 3.5-inch. I will whenever we get done getting everything moved out to the studio. But deer season is in here at the BRO Ponderosa, and that puts everything behind. I've got videos that I'm working on that I'm a little behind with and all that because of this extra busy weekend that we had. We had an outstanding hunt yesterday. I was able to go on the dog drive yesterday. Got my first deer. I got 13 tags to fill, and I got my first deer of the season here in the first week of the second half. It was a nice 4-point. And he's going to be good on the table. And I rolled him up on camera in 4K for you guys. That will be coming up here soon. And David Ayers also got a nice buck as well on camera. So it was a great hunt. All right. We've got 34 grains of blue dot. MG 42 watt. One of Gary's nudgers. And it is definitely okay to overstack the wide, folks. Sometimes that is the point. That helps get us a little more universal, or gives us a little more spread on our pattern, especially if things are in close, and sometimes they can get in close. All right, we want 18 pellets of 32 cal, which is going to weigh about 1.9 or 1.95 ounces of lead payload weight. That's awful close to 2 ounces, ain't it? I've got some beautiful OD green 32 cal right here. We're going to get 18 pellets that we're going to drop in here by twos. And the cool thing about these MG42 wads here, they've got hinges on the bottom, and so your pellets are going to fall right in there by twos. Hopefully. Okay, make sure y'all can see down in there. I think you can. They fell right in place. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Right to about there. Check this out. Get a hold of my overshot cards. Punched them out myself. My buddy, Mr. John Kirk, right up the road in Columbia, he contacted me a week or so ago, and he said, Wade, if you hadn't gone on Amazon and got you a couple of these little punches right here, they're upside down, right here. One's 3/4 inch, one is 5/8 inch. 3/4 inch for 12 gauge, 5/8 inch for 20 gauge. That's the two I load the most of. $10 a piece on Amazon, and I have punched out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of overshot cards over the weekend with these things. Definitely well worth the investment. I've been using old ammo boxes and stuff like that. Primer boxes of all of the 1,000 primer case size and the individual primer case size. Anything with real tough cardboard I can get my hands on. Even soda boxes. And what I've done is, these things are pretty thin, but you can still see the writing and all that on them off the boxes and all that stuff. I just double them up. Put 2 of them on the top when you seal up with your buffer. And what this paper does is it acts just like a gasket. So you don't have to really treat these things. It seals that buffer in there well whenever you put this real tough cardboard on top of that buffer and then cinch it down with your crimp tools. Then that thing acts just like a gasket. It's not going to let that buffer come back out of there. So what I've got here on the bench, we have used 47 and original. I've got original sitting right here on the bench, so that's what we're going to grab. It's the one in the blue can at Ballistic Products. Alrighty, and you gotta have your little homemade massage thing right here to vibrate your buffer down into your round. Gonna need just a little bit more. I just cover the pellets. Blue dot is excellent. Is an excellent powder. I know it's hard to find, guys. It is, and we're going to talk about some long shot here in just a little bit. And I know that Tyler McDavid and Josh over on the Shotgun Scientist, they have been using little gun and some of these heavier loads in the 3.5 inch. I've got some little gun, but I have not put any together yet to take down to the range to try. So these guys are already trying the little gun in these heavy loads right here. I just haven't done it yet. I will, but I just haven't done it yet. So we got our pellets covered up here. We're going to get us a couple of these homemade, home cut overshot cards. I grabbed several of them, too many. I just get 2 of them. Turn it up cardboard side, up toward the top. Yeah, just like that. I've got the Gite OTP. It's what I have on here. It works great. It works great finishing your rounds, and it works great roll crimping the rounds. Here, let me hit it. I got a little bit of, I keep a little bit of petroleum jelly right here, and I hit about every 5 to 6 rounds. I hit it with a little bit of it. It works for me. A lot of guys use a lot of different things. This works for me. This is just what I use. I've used about everything there is to use. And I like what works. And once you've done a bunch of these like I have, you get a feel for whenever it's time to stop. 18 pellets of 32 caliber, pushed by 34 grains of blue dot powder. Over that we have an MG42 wad. That's just how simple that is. And this is one of the most effective rounds that anybody has been testing in the field out there at the club. And I've got me a 3500 now. I'm going to be shooting these as well myself. So that's an 18 pellet 32 cal. Some of the favorite ones that all of the guys have been shooting a lot of are the 18 pellet 32 cal, the 20 pellet 31 cal, and the 22 pellet 30 cal. All of them 2 ounces of lead payload weight. All right, we're going to get the other 2 put together, possibly use one of the other 2 different types of wads that have been working great for us in the field. Y'all stand by. And since we are hovering around 2 ounces of lead payload weight in all of these, we're staying right here with 34 to 34 and a half of blue dot powder. You can use 30 to 32 grains of long shot in these same loads. We have shot and field tested 30 to 32 grains in all of these loads I'm putting together here today with blue dot. We have also used 30 to 32 grains of long shot in these loads with outstanding performance. All right, let's keep moving on. New primed Fiocchi, 3.5 inch, 34 blue dot. Let me get a hold of them. Got some full cut LVC 50. Cut all the way to the bottom. I try to line up, cut them right to the holes. They work like hinges. Now, with these, whether I'm using blue dot or whether I'm using long shot, but especially the long shot, we put a 20 gauge undershot card in here, at least 1/8 inch. That's what I got here, 20 gauge overshot paper wad, 1/8 inch. I've used up to 1/4 inch. It doesn't seem to matter. They all work well. So 34 blue dot LBC 50. Drop in our 20 gauge undershot card. Let's get all this pushed down in here. Bottom it out. Make sure I push that card in there. These wads are flat, so you don't have any trouble getting everything in there. All right, let's grab up 20 pellets of 31 caliber. I have been making and continuing to make a royal mess. Here it goes. Rachel and I have been moving a lot of stuff out to the studio. We've still got a lot more construction and all that to do, but things had really piled up in here on us, and so we've been in the process of moving stuff out there. Just polished, 31 cal out of Marty's molds. Just tumbled and polished. That's all. Not treated in any other way. In here by 2s. They can stack in here by 3s in the LBC 50, but what we're going to do is we're going to make them stack in here by 2s. 1, 2. They may... Okay, these fell in there just fine. I know with the 30 cal, they'll stack in there by 3s. If you wanted them to. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. There we go. To right about there. Just about the same spot. Maybe just a little bit lower down in there, but we've got, there's more room in this LBC 50, and it sits slightly lower down into the round. So, but that's right around 2 ounces of lead payload weight. That's what we're shooting for. 1.9, 2.1. That's your range right there. If you're in that range, you're still good. All right, we're going to cover it with BP Original. That's the one in the blue can. 47 works good. We're just going to cover the pellets. I'm looking at I got a light right there and I can see through, and it looks like it's dropped right down. It has, right down to the top of the pellets. Once again, I'm going to grab a couple of our homemade overshot cards here. Alrighty. We just get a couple of them and I stack them. Alright. $20 pellets of 31 caliber. Yeah, that's what I call a hammer jammer right there. That'll get it. That'll get the job done. Been getting the job done. Not just saying that it could get the job done. It has, and it's been getting the job done. So that's why I'm sharing them with you guys now. We have field tested it. You've been a lot of these animals that you'll see taken out here on camera in these hunts are taken with these rounds right here. All right, 20 pellets of 31 cal. We're gonna make a note of that. I'll put one together with the CSD 114, which is it's designed to hold steel, but it will hold anything. It show you whenever you keep these things full length without cutting them. They are a 3.5 inch length. That's right. The CSD 114 is already a 3.5 inch length, and these number 22 pellets of number 1 are going to bring it right up to the top of this wad, fully encased. Yeah, fully encased in this bad boy right here. This will reach out and touch them a long way. We'll be right back. You're going to notice that the CSD 114 has the same little holes right here in the bottom that the LBC 50 has. And yes, we cut it full cut all the way, and I try to line it up with the holes. Gary's cutting tools work outstanding on this stuff. That's what I cut all of this stuff with, is with Mr. Gary Caskey's tools. Yep, cut all the way down to the bottom. It's best to just full cut them anyway, because I don't see too much variation, enough variation to worry about cutting them 3/4 length, half, 3/4, or less. Then you're going to run into problems with a few pellets staying in the bottom of this wad and it flipping around like a shuttlecock and then traveling down range like a slug. Mr. Roger Atkins, Tyler, McDavid, shotgun scientist, him and Josh, they've had the same thing happen. So have I. We've had the same thing happen whenever we don't trim this wad all the way to the bottom, and if you're shooting out of a choke that is not designed to grab the wad. So that's something to remember, to think about when you're using the LBC 50 and the CSD type wads. Just go on and trim them all the way to the gas seal. That's the best thing to do. Instead of half cut, 3/4 cut, just cut it all the way to the base. I haven't seen enough difference in the patterns to make it worthwhile to take a chance on having a problem with the wad flipping around with a couple of pellets hanging in the bottom of it, and stuff like that. So anyway, let's get this thing put together. Once again, because this is what I got: 3.5 inch Fiocchi primed with 616 primers, 9 Magnum primers. Once again, 34 of Blue Dot, 30 to 32 grains of Long Shot also works. CSD 114 just cut all the pedals, cut all the way to the gas seal, all the way to the holes in the bottom. They work like a hinge. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to also need a 20 gauge undershot card. What I've got here are two 20 gauge overshot cards. Put them together and see they're about 1/8 of an inch. You use what you got, guys. That's all the cushion you need here. We're going to drop these right down in the bottom of the wad. CSD 114. Press it down. We're going to get 22 pellets of full-grown 30 cal #1 buck here. And that big old long wad right there is going to encase and hold every one of them into this wad. That's pretty cool. Especially for the folks that are out there in the big deserts, coyoting and stuff like that. 30 cal #1. Let's see. These out of Marty's molds. 30 cal #1. 4 blue powder coated. They are beautiful and they fly well. Like I said, we're going to put them in here by 2s. You probably could stack them in here by 3s, but we're going to make them go in here by 2s. You drop 2 down in here. You drop another 2 on top of them. And what I do is I just take my finger down in here and get them to line up, or you can use the nudger. I'm looking at now, just like that. See if they'll hold. They're probably not going to hold together, but we got them in there by 2s. That's what you want to do. As long as I can see. Once we get it, there we go. Once we get it started, you'll understand what I'm seeing here. You'll understand what I'm talking about here. Make them stack by 2s. They hold together better. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Right to the top of that CSD 114 wad. Fits perfect. All right. Let's get them covered up with BP Original. 47 works. The precision buffer, in our experience, it will spike pressures, especially if you're not careful with your powder charges. So we stay with the softer buffers. I call it softer because the precision buffer is a polymer, is a much harder polymer, and it is tiny, tiny little spheres. That's why, hence the precision spherical buffer. I love using the stuff with the small pellets, especially like in varmint loads. T-buck, F-buck, #4 buck, and maybe in some #3 buck loads, where the pellets take up so much volume in here, it doesn't require a lot of buffer to get it down in between the pellets. And that precision buffer just pours right in around those tiny little pellets, and you don't have to vibrate anything to get that precision buffer to go right in there. It's really convenient whenever you're using the smaller pellets, and it works outstanding with, in my experience, with especially with the smaller pellets. All right, let's get 2 pieces of our homemade overshot card here. These loads that I'm just showing you right here, right quick, or as quick as I can, folks, is a crowd favorite. They work. And with me, what I care about is how it functions. And these have been field tested with the newer wads last couple of years with the LBC 50 and the CSD 114 and the CSD 35. There's several different CSD type wads. They work well. We've been testing these for the last couple of years, and even a lot more this year. But the ones with the Gualandi wad, with the MG42, this has been years in the field, and they work outstanding. All right, let's get this one rolled up, and we're going to wrap this one up. Looks like it just come off the assembly line. Actually, it did. The BRO assembly line, and soon to be yours. They work, guys. They work. This works. And that's 22 pellets, 30 cal. 22 pellets, powder coated 30 cal number 1s. Great, great load. These are 3 of my favorite loads right here that we just put together here into 3.5 inch. Field tested and working every day. Alrighty, folks, hope y'all enjoyed the video. We'll be taking these down to the range here and shooting them out of my 3500 here just as soon as I can get down to the range. Alrighty, folks, hope y'all are enjoying your cooler weather, your deer season, and all that stuff. This is Wade Rush with the Bubba Roundtree Outdoors channel, and we'll be back with another one very, very